Welcome to our PixelFree general tutorial on how to use key components of our software. We will use the basic landing area for a web page as our guide. By reviewing how layouts and containers work and behave in PixelFree, you can begin to unleash your full creativity. We begin with a blank canvas on our home screen. On the upper left-hand side, you will see various layout and container options. The ones you will use most are the anchor pane, VBox, and VBox. Next, I'll display the various container inserts including a button, videos, text input, and password fields used to create forms, among others. We offer robust flexibility for creating whatever you want and need. I'll begin our project by dragging and dropping an anchor pane onto the stage. I then move my cursor to the bottom right to set the anchor pane's constraints. You can see the anchor pane reposition itself as I fix the constraints. An anchor pane will always stick to the borders you set. The anchor pane is an extremely useful container in which you can place virtually anything. For now, I'll mostly use buttons to show you how they work. I place the first button and then use the controls on the right side of the screen to add some color. I will then set constraints for the button, the same way I did for the anchor pane. The button will now remain firmly in a fixed position unless I change the constraints. Here you see, I can't move the fixed button, as opposed to the free movement I have for this new button I added to the stage which has no set constraints. I will now delete these buttons to demonstrate creating a landing area. I can adjust the radius of the anchor pane using the controls on the right side of the screen rounding off the corners of my anchor pane. You can play around with these features to desync whatever you have in mind. I then insert the SVG image and click the export feature at the top right of the screen to open the export window, where I will select HTML. Within seconds, I have the identical image converted from PixelFree to HTML. The exporter has also automatically generated code for HTML, Java, and CSS. Going forward, I will now use this background as the base for our landing area. I then drag and drop various containers onto the background. I'll start with an VBox and set constraints to use it as a base for building a navigation bar. I will now rename it by changing its ID in the upper right-hand corner, labeling it as my navigation bar. Next, I add a simple button and show you how that exports. Again, in mere seconds, I have my updated HTML page. I then use Visual Studio, which pulls up the auto-generated code including the ID for the navigation bar. I can do the same by naming the button payment, as one might use for creating a payment system website. For example, once again, I export and reopen in Visual Studio to see the correctly named ID. This feature is hugely important because it allows you to quickly and easily connect your front-end design to your back-end development. You can also use a button to insert a logo onto your web page. We can do this because button accepts any background, just like an anchor pane. So here, I'll add the logo into the button, remove the default background color and text, and voila, the button is now a corporate logo. PixelFree also allows you to work on multiple pages within the same project, simply by clicking on the new page control. Here, I'll throw in an anchor pane and fill it with an outer space image as a background to give you an idea. You can then enlarge the anchor pane, as I'm doing here, or do whatever you like to create your design. I'll now return to the first page and rename the payment button to call it a logo, since I changed it to a logo and forgot to rename it. The next feature I'd like to highlight in the link menu. I really like this one because it enables you to create links between your pages. Once we do that, and then click export, we get both pages converted in both image and code, exactly how we designed them. You can create as many pages and as many links as you desire. Returning to our home page, I'll now add a combo box to the navigation bar, which is another cool feature. This comes in handy for using PixelFree's singularly unique smart divisions, which I will explain in a few minutes. To highlight the benefits of the combo box, I'll set the margins and pivot to the drop-down menu. I'll then name the various drop-down items, calling them Home, About, Download, and Contact, some common items you might highlight on a website. You can then use the link feature I just demonstrated to connect each of the combo box items I named to its related page. For now, I'll create a color for the drop-down menu, and I'll decrease the background opacity because I don't need a background for my drop-down menu. Next, I'll drag and drop additional buttons into the navigation bar and name them, just as I did in the combo box. I'll change the box size and font to suit my taste from the multitude of choices we offer. I'll then decrease the background opacity for each button and eliminate the HBox background. You can see our project quickly developing. I'll just adjust the logo and buttons a bit also to suit my preferences. Now, I'll save the project and give you another look at the export. It's perfect, including the fully operational drop-down screen. As I return to the project, I realized that I don't want the check mark in the drop-down menu for the website design. So I go to the Display Settings menu to remove the check mark for a cleaner look. However, as you will see, we'll need it again shortly for designing in a mobile version using smart divisions. I'll follow up by demonstrating the utility of the VBox. Here, I drag it onto the stage and insert a couple of labels, a paragraph box and a button. I'll remove the default background, and you'll see all the elements are aligned vertically. I can play around with the VBox settings and give the elements spacing of 10 pixels away from each other. I'll go into the text settings and rename my labels and adjust them as well. I can alter the size and text color and get rid of the background. From there, I'll copy and paste written material into the text box, change the text color to white, and remove the background as well. Here, I am revising the button to add a blue border. You can have it dashed or dotted, but I prefer a solid line. I then get rid of the background and decrease the padding. My margins are now all set within the VBox, but I want to change the constraints from the left and top. I then save my project and export it as before. Voila! Our website is coming along nicely. Now it's time to demonstrate my favorite feature, Smart Divisions, which enables you to create fully responsive websites. To use Smart Divisions, you need to click the icon on the top right of your screen. I begin by adding a new division, which I can set by dragging this divider across the screen. In this case, I'll set a width of 350 pixels to emulate a mobile screen, and the dividing line turns from dashes to a solid line to indicate it has been activated. The division is now set. For this new division, I want to eliminate the visibility of the buttons, which we don't need for the mobile version. I click on the visibility option on the right side of the screen so you can no longer see them. I'll now re-add the check mark for the combo box because we'll need to use the drop-down menu for navigating on the mobile version. We can now toggle back and forth between our default page, which is designed for a website, and our Smart Division designed for mobile. On our Smart Division page, I can also vary the VBox constraints, so the VBox location differs between the two Smart Division designs. Using the Auto Snap, we can now see what the mobile version will look like for mobile devices. I'll then export the Smart Division mobile design, and it converts with ease. I'll return once more to our Smart Division and toggle back and forth between the two designs to give you one more look at this amazingly robust feature. I'll finish our time together by demonstrating how to insert a video into your design, which is pretty awesome. I start with our handy anchor pane, give it a background, and then add a video to place in the middle. My video screen starts off too large, but it can easily be refit to suit my purposes. I'm shrinking it to the size, and then export this final phase of my design. And there it is, our design now including fully functional video. Thanks for watching our general tutorial.